For my second design concept, I chose to use the umbrella image from Preston Bailey's inspiration board. The first thing that came to mind when I looked at this image was Mary Poppins. I used to love the movie when I was a child. So I went from there. I began to research all I could about Mary Poppins and found it was set in the early 1900s, which coincides with the Edwardian era. Upon further research of the Edwardian era, I discovered what a beautiful and elegant age it was. The heavy, dark, cluttered look of the Victorian era was gone, and in its place, something much lighter and more cheerful. This early 20th century style had an eclectic feel to it, and drew from elements of Georgian, medieval, and Tudor style. Shifting away from the darkness of the Victorian interior, colors were fresh and light. Patterns were feminine, with flowers and floral designs being highly favored. Colors were predominantly pastels. The floral theme was complemented by liberal use of fresh flower arrangements. Therefore, I have decided to call this wedding an Edwardian era, an Edwardian-themed wedding with an emphasis on umbrellas or the Edwardian parasol. The parasol can be seen repetitively throughout the design concept. For this design, I found it easier to use the perimeter approach. The walls, ceiling, and entrance were among the first that I created. The tabletops came together much later in the design process. The colors I have chosen to use in this design concept are peach, lilac, pastel pink, and pastel green. The foundation color of the entire wedding is an effortless light ivory, and these chosen pastel colors will appear all through the design, thus creating a fair and graceful ambience. The fabrics that will be used are ivory, silky satin, Versailles lace, and ivory linen. The flowers that will be used are peach, lilac, and ivory roses, pink peonies, white jasmine flowers, hypericum berries, and asparagus fern. The wedding invitations will be delivered to each guest in a square ivory silky satin box, utterly sleek and glossy to the touch, with an intricate lace parasol on the front for one's fingertips to trace and indulge in. Once the box has been opened, you will find a subtle pastel pink card with a Versailles lace border. The guest's name will be written in a delicate Edwardian script in a medium gray color. Upon opening the card, the guest will see a soft-edged portrait of a woman in a parasol by Claude Monet in the 1900s on the left-hand side of the card, and invitation details will be on the right of the card. The details will be on ivory parchment paper, also written in the same medium gray Edwardian script. This invitation gives glimpses of the Edwardian theme of the wedding. I have chosen only to use the ivory and pastel pink colors, as I believe the lace and the portrait add a large element of intricacy, and I don't want the invitation to look too garish. I sense that this invitation will infuse each guest and transport them to an era long past, but deeply admired and cherished. The wedding will be taking place at the Hately Castle on the grounds of Hately Park and Royal Roads University in Victoria, Vancouver Island, British Columbia. This castle was completed in 1908 in the Edwardian period, and thus is a perfect setting for this wedding. The castle overlooks Esquimalt Lagoon, the Straits of Juan de Fuca, and the Olympic Mountains in Washington State. It has spectacular gardens and an exquisite ballroom, which is where we will have the reception. The exterior of the castle also really appealed to me, with its striking stone-clad walls covered in lush creeping vines. This slide shows the full floor plan of Hately Castle. The reception will be taking place in the drawing room. I have illustrated the entry and exit flows from the reception, bathrooms, and the castle. This slide shows the basic floor plan of the drawing room for the reception. 8 long banquet tables will be used, 6 seating 24 guests, and 2 seating 22 guests. The bride and groom will have their own table, with 2 5-seater tables positioned near them for their relatives. This equates to 200 guests in total. The buffet area will be at the back of the room, sectioned off by a glass panel. The stage is located at the front of the room, along with the dance floor and lounge areas. I have also roughly illustrated the flow of the event. The married couple will be arriving at the reception in a gorgeous 1910 Rolls-Royce. This will truly transport them through the ages and set a spectacular Edwardian feel.